So right now we have with us a great client and a friend now, Michael North, who's been a client of ours for a couple of years now, Mike.
I think 2, maybe a little
Two,
over
right?
2
Yeah,
if
I
I
thought about
yeah.
2 years now. I didn't look. And the reason I want to have him here is especially when we're talking about mindset is I've just seen this evolution in Michael from in just how he's thought about his business and his approach to the business, just like liberating both time and more money. So instead of me telling that story, that's why I invited Michael here to share with you guys kind of if you're at a position where you're stuck, you're frustrated, which is really common, is how to get out of that. Mike, I'll just turn it over to you to walk us through that process.
Yeah, first of all, when I joined you, I already knew you and I already had been borrowing some of your gems of wisdom for years, but half-assed and not really fully diving in. So my commitment was always, right? So 20 plus years in this business, the last 3 or 2.5 or so with you has been like trumps the last 20 prior. Because what I learned from was a bunch of guys that were great sales guys that read a book on recruiting. I joined and I remember picking up the phone and they'd say, put them on hold. And that's how I learned, teaching me how to do it. So I had really no process. It was in the fire. So I was really good on the phone. I'm still good on the phone. But what I learned from TRU and from Michael, number one, it was the mindset of how I approached my business. Huge. That was probably the best thing I got, just to give me a different feeling from my frenetic energy. As my mindset coach had said to me, wow, the switch from frenetic to confidence and calm was huge for me. That was for me the feeling of, okay, now I have a process that I really like and started to love, and I'm making little adjustments. So as I learn more and more about me, I found the triggers. I've learned about my triggers from my mindset coach, kind of asking me questions and digging in. And I've overcome some of those crazy ideas in my mind that I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I know all that I'm doing. I just didn't have a process in place. So I got that framework from really digging in and really listening to my coaches. I have a wonderful business coach here. You don't coach me directly, but I listen to your voice way too often, to my wife's chagrin. But I love that I have the confidence now from my process. So I created that. Yes, go ahead. What
Yeah,
are you
so I
going to
was
ask
gonna
me?
say on that mind because it's a typical thing, right? Where
Yeah.
and I got coached through that myself years ago, going from that overwhelm. You didn't use the word overwhelm. Your word was frenetic, and I know that's a process where you really have to dig in and work on yourself a little bit. But if you
Mhm.
could give like what was the new belief that you created about yourself and the process of how we don't have time to get into, and how did you layer
Yeah.
that in to switch that from that frenetic to that calm, consistent, confident, using your word?
Two
Uh,
things. Two things. I didn't see myself as a delegator. I saw myself as the guy that if it's going to be, it's up to me, try to do everything myself, which I understand is now understanding it's very common. Once I got away from that and I said, let me get somebody else to do some of these really important tasks that I'm okay and good at, but I'm getting paid. I could pay somebody $10 an hour instead of my hundreds of dollars an hour, which I should be focusing my time and attention. That was just the mindset of that around that. I didn't ever think of it that way. And that was something that you helped me with. And it was just made sense. Now I'm over the top with that. Now I have a virtual assistant, which is brand new this year. Never had somebody in my email. I don't look at my email in the first part of the day at all. Somebody else does, goes, look at this, look at this. Fantastic. The delegation of the research, I was frenetic. Let me just go back to it because I was trying to do everything and I just couldn't even breathe and figure it all. Which way do I go? So for me, handing off some of that stuff gave me a chance to breathe, manage my energy better, and actually focus my attention, which it's taken me a couple of years to feel really good about it, but it happened pretty quickly once I handed off research. That was the first thing, research. So the difference for me is unraveling my mindset about I have to be the guy. And I still struggle with that. It wasn't automatic. I still try to do a few other things myself. Even I heard you say something about your friend who scraping paint off of his clapper the other day. And how crazy is that when he's making a lot more money per placement to actually do that himself. That's like the chef that's actually cutting his own, being his own sous chef at the same time. You need somebody else to do that work. So I learned that from you. And I'm very thankful because it was just a mindset shift. Now I have multiple people doing other things, including marketing, including looking at my email, including checking to make sure I didn't drop the ball on anything at all, so I could spend more time marketing with my clients, calling, closing deals, metrics is a thing. We could unravel this, Mike. There's so many areas, but it's my mindset. So I love, that's the best thing I got from joining TRU, how I see myself in the business as a leader who belongs in the conversation with other leaders, not another recruiter trying to get a job order. That I don't worry about. I don't even think about that. I'm not worried about where I'm going to get a job order. I've planted the seeds to become that trusted advisor. You are in my head all the time. And I started doing that with you in mind. And now I am that guy because I actually believe it and put myself in front of people with that end in mind. The end game is people come to me more than me just going to them. And it's a bit of a give and take. I still go forward. I still promote. I still market, but they're coming to me more because I'm in that circle of people that I want to be in, and they see me that way. So that's a big mind shift, except from 2 years
Huge.
ago.
That's because I'm just an earlier version of all of you guys. I was the same thing. Delegating was expensive. It's just easier to do it myself. Those are all the things, right? We say to ourselves, "Oh, if that costs me X amount of dollars per month versus liberates X amount of thousands of dollars per month," which is what you said. What is a couple things you just said on one thing I wanted to hit on? What are one or two things you've done to make yourself a trusted advisor as you're nurturing those relationships with clients?
Ooh, one or two things. That's
I
a
know
good
there's a
question.
lot.
I've done, there's a lot, there's a bunch. So one or two things, credibility with using existing champions, clients that know me, asking them simple, even using LinkedIn as a tool to market myself. I'll share with you the last 2 years, haven't had a website. I started doing something, paid somebody fully to do it, by the way, and started with the stuff, copy, all that nonsense, whatever. And I said, you know what, put it on hold because I really wasn't sure how I wanted to show up. So I said, let's just focus on LinkedIn. I started beefing that up and I actually started using the testimonials to my advantage. And then this VP of sales or this chief revenue officer or this CEO recommends me to this guy, huge. I started partnering with other directors of sales or fractional guys and gals that know me and like me. And of course, once you do a great job with one, they go, this guy made me look like a superstar. That's what I did. I wanted to show up for them. Paying it forward has become my mantra. I've always felt that way, but I didn't really believe it. I put myself out there as that guy that, hey, let me find out, what can I do for you? So my calls that I have, my video conference meetings, all my marketing, I'm interested to learn more about you, what inspires you, and what's your why. That's how I show up. That's me. And when I chat with my mindset coach, she goes, what do you want to do? I said, I really want to help people. I want to go out there and do what Mike does with my clients and be that guy that they come to and go, I could bounce off ideas. So that's how I showed up. And that's what's become huge for me. Now that's how my website's going to show up. That's how my LinkedIn shows up. I'm the pay it forward guy, the talent whisperer. I'm your advisor. I'm that guy you could bounce off ideas and forget about the money. Let's talk about what can I do to make you look like a superstar. We could worry about that other stuff later. So I'm not
Oh,
worried about it.
that's absolutely, I mean, that's absolutely brilliant because you cannot, one, not just you, Mike, one cannot serve at a high level and not get it come back tenfold. One, it's biblical, right? And it's not, tithing is not just about giving to the poor. It's this energy of, I think a lot of recruiters go out there and it's, I need a job order. I need a job order. I need a job order. Do you have a job order? Do you have a job order? Do you have a job order? Versus, hey, tell me about your situation. How can I help? You might not need me right now, but what can I do
Yes,
for you?
exactly. Look, I want to add to that one little layer. As a result, one of my biggest decisions, and I had to make a decision, right? This is something I've struggled with, deciding what I want to do. I'm so good at so many different things. What should I do? Hand it off to this guy, hand it off to that. So what do I do really well? That's get in front of people and have conversations and win an acquaintance, win a trust, maybe win something that could be my champion. So I started doing that face-to-face pre-COVID in meetings, but it was actually when I joined you, I think we were in the thick of Zoom world. And I think I was invited by a colleague I knew in business to join a women's group and be that token guy. I said, how brilliant is this? It was great because they were all business owners, all women. And I started being the guy they brought in to do programs and training and whatever it was, not even training, but topics. I started doing that. Then when COVID broke, I joined another networking group. I was invited to this, invited to that, and I started partnering with people and I started showing up that way, showing up in the world of Steve Jobs. Just show up and show up here, show up for my colleagues in recruitment. I never had friends in the recruiting industry because they were always competitors. Now it's, I want to share with them because I'm going to pay it forward. I have an accountability group because of you that I met 2 years ago. 2 years long running, we're going. Same group.
And you are the
It's
life
like,
of the party at the mastermind meetings, by the way.
oh yeah, there you
But
go.
you
Well,
are.
thanks.
Well,
Really?
when we're hanging, you're at the table. We got a whole group.
I was just saying, I didn't realize that, but I like people. So hopefully I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just what I put out there, but I love that mantra on our meeting the other day. And I've been living that, breathing that, saying it out loud from the big leap. All these gems of wisdom I've leaned in, and I'm really doing the work. And that's the difference. Before I was picking and poking and trying this, trying that, I've dug in. And when I talk about, there's so many things we could talk about on one call, but you and I can go off on a tangent. It's really the mindset, how I view myself, how I show up for my clients, and even for my partners and friends and in the networking, people coming at me going, hey, I really could use your help, or let me introduce you to this guy who could use your help. That's why it's coming back to me, because I've thrown it out there and I really believe what I'm doing. And I got a process now, Mike. I'm really good at what I do. I've got a team that actually supports me. I still have to be on top of it. But anyway, those are the things I did.
You don't have to use dollar figures to sum that all up. What % have you grown over the last couple of years, revenue wise? Because everyone's all mindsets, some people out there, all this woo stuff. It's not just about changing the way you're thinking, actually what you talked about, enjoying what you're doing again after 20 years, but it's also, it's worthless if revenue stays the same or goes down.
How about if I just use a number, let's say 200%, and it's probably this year, maybe close to 300% from when I started with you, because I started with no clients. I left a merger situation with a big company, and I basically started and grabbed a few clients, and started writing business. I went from zero. So it's growing year over year, and I'm investing in my business with new people, technology. I'm at a really great point right now where it's time to boom, and I feel confident that's going to continue to happen. Despite this recession, 300% over the last 3 years. Every year it's doubled.
That's amazing.
That's pretty
good.
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
And
it didn't happen as quick.
From an amount of time you're investing in your week in your business, is that stayed the same, gone up, or gone down?
I'll say that it's been different, because now I'm doing more of what I like to do, as opposed to doing all the Frenetic. So I'm still putting the time in, but I'm not spending time at midnight looking at the research and stuff, because they're going to be getting on at 1 a.m. on another part of the world. I'm doing that with my virtual assistants, reviewing that for me. So I'm spending less time worrying about those little things and having somebody else look at it. And I just hit go 5 minutes, check, check, check. I'd say I'm spending more time focused on what I like to do and deciding on which areas I love to do. I'm still in that, what do I want to give off to somebody else? I still want to be involved in the marketing. I still love writing copy. I still love getting on the phone, but I'm not doing it all. I've got 2 other full-time people on the phone all the time. So now I've multiplied myself times 3. So I'll say I'm putting in the same amount of time I did 2 years ago with much better results.
Well, so without working longer, because a lot of times that's my main thing. A lot of people say, oh, double the revenue. It's probably at least 50 to 100% more work.
Oh, no, I stopped working on the weekends. Oh,
that's
I'm
great.
playing golf. I'm playing golf in Pinehurst next week for 3 days. I haven't done that. When I go away with you guys, I love these mastermind events, because it's just coming together, and I love it. I don't really do any work. I might answer an email early in the morning or make a few calls, but I have somebody else on it now because I don't have to be there. That's the difference. I could actually break away for a day, for a couple of days. For this afternoon, I'm taking the afternoon, hanging out with my family. I've never done that. 2 years, I never did that. So it's a different feeling, and I know my business is still going to flow when I'm not there. Even if something happens, I'm not worried about it, because I have somebody else that can answer the phone, and I could get on it on Monday. Life won't end. So I used to be, oh my God, I got to be there every minute. So that's a big difference, right?
Huge. Congratulations.
Did I answer your question?
I know you and I could go on forever.
Oh, I know. So
you and I are multiple tangent people.
Yeah. I love talking to you, but I know we can go off. I know, but
thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out of your day before you bump off to hang out with your family on a work day. Again, congratulations on all your success. We're all super proud of you.
Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you very much for being my support system and giving me that confidence. That's been the best win for me. Confidence in myself, which I never really had the process to feel that confident. Right now, I have that on top. So that's for you guys. That's to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for your loyalty.
Yeah, man. I love it.